What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today when I talk to you about Lucid, I want to go over some of the data points, what's moving it, and go over everything else that you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So Lucid is up 1.53%, 1977 the low, 2016 the high, and 2.1 million shares being traded. So very low volume, and it's not just Lucid, it's actually happening across the board. So despite the broader market really rallying, you are seeing a certain level of hesitation. But nonetheless, what is happening in the broader market is a lot of hype because of this. So a very productive conversation did take place on the 18th between the States and China. So this is a good kind of rubber stamp or like a temporary fix of the fear that's been lingering in the broader market for a very long time. So even though there wasn't any deal or anything like that announced, market is taking this as a very good positive. In addition to that though, we do have a lot of big companies unveiling their earnings this week, and there's a certain level of optimism. So that's what's really fueling the broader market. As far as today, Lucid did put out news, and that was this right here. And so two basketball greats, one game-changing collaboration. So this right here goes to show these two individuals, so Josh Hart and Jalen Brunson. So I think in general, this is okay. I know I see a lot of people jumping up and down on social media over this, but then again, I think if Lucid puts out any news, people are jumping up and down with excitement. In my opinion, I don't know why. Maybe it's just I had a certain image of kind of who would collaborate with Lucid, and it's not these individuals, and nor was it Timothy. I didn't really see Timothy as being the key kind of role or brand ambassador for Lucid, because I think generally where Lucid is trying to target, which is largely Europe, Middle East, you have a lot of focus on soccer / football or whatever the hell you want to call it, depending on where you live. I get it. The States, that's where Lucid is based out of. Basketball is big there. I am not really that big of a fan. I couldn't even tell you which teams these individuals play for. So I think in general, they really need to kind of think about their marketing, because still, we don't see any pictures of these individuals driving a Gravity. So as far as we're concerned, this was just a photo op. And I've seen and kind of covered other companies that do similar types of collaborations with MBA, and it doesn't really work out, in my opinion. So as much as a lot of people are very excited, I don't really see this being a good catalyst whatsoever. So I think Lucid is just largely piggybacking off of the broader market. Nobody's really buying into this. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news. And I'm always like that. I always like to play devil's advocate. I'm not here to BS you. I could easily, as what I've mentioned many times in the past, I could easily hype this up and say, hey, you know what? This is something huge for Lucid. You need to buy now. But I'm not. I just like to honestly just say the truth, even though I do have a position in Lucid and technically like I could easily benefit from just trying to hype it up. I don't want to do that in my videos ever. So in my opinion, I think that this is not good. No, it's just more fluff news. And especially one thing that is going to, I know I'm going to forward say this because I know I'm going to piss myself off, or Lucid's going to piss me off during the World Cup. Even though it's been announced many years in advance that it's going to be in North America, so Mexico, the States, and Canada, Lucid is going to do zero advertising. That's going to annoy the hell out of me. And yeah, so I don't know what Lucid thinks. I don't really think that they have a plan for their target audience. So, and this is actually a good representation of that. So let me know your viewpoint on this. Do you think I'm just being too difficult on Lucid and too harsh? Or do you think that this is legitimately a good catalyst? Aside from that, though, shorts are increasing 179,000 shares. 31.3% of the free floats being shorted. Works out to be 39.7 million shares overall being shorted. By shorts increasing today, you kind of signal based on them that today's green day isn't really justified. So something just to kind of keep in mind because of the AWS kind of shutdown and issue that's happening right now. We can't see any options activity through unusual whales. So you kind of have to go and assume that things are optimistic based on all that. But we are seeing from the secondary market, no real big transactions. So of that 2 million shares being traded, most of that is actually coming from shorts as well as algorithmic trading, because based on this, you see one buy for 400,000, then you have one sell for 960, and then another sell for 133,000. So big money is not really buying into this as well. So again, this is why I like to read a lot of the data. If this showed a overwhelming amount of buying, then I would definitely say, hey, you know what? I am wrong. Clearly, this is amazing news, but even big money doesn't really seem to care about this all that much. These are all the transactions occurring on the dark pool above $100,000. So still not even that much going on, unfortunately. So I think it's just piggybacking off the broader market, and people just want to find out what is coming next. And so I think Tesla, with their upcoming earnings, might give that insight to the whole EV market. As far as right now, with it at 1994, it is trading between this pivot and this S1. So 1947 is going to be a strong support, wasn't really tested whatsoever today. And then 2055 is going to be the next strong target / resistance, which wasn't also touched today. So it's most likely just going to stay wedge bound between these 2 points up until, in my opinion, Tesla's earnings. So that is coming out Wednesday after hours, if I remember correctly. So just we'll have to wait and see. There hasn't really been any new analyst ratings or anything like that. So last rating did come out right over here 3 days ago. 𝗖𝗢𝗡𝗡𝗖𝗧, $21 hold, and that was a 46% success rating. So I think this one was just posted because I was looking over the weekend, especially during my video where I go over some expectations. I don't remember seeing that one. So I think this one might have just been posted today, possibly, even though it shows 3 days ago. So we have a $21 one. That's pretty good. As a consensus over the last 3 months, 2470 is that price target, representing a 23.87% upside from where we are now. So let me know your viewpoint on that. Aside from all of that fun stuff on the actual chart, still technically, even though it's in the green today, it is below both the 10 and also the 50-day moving average. And then I guess over and above that, a lot of the other ones I like to look at, so 200 and also 100. So right now, it's kind of recovering with the broader market, but still nothing of significance. Even looking, comparing Friday to today, you don't really see that much activity change from the market position. So you see a little bit more willing buyers, but at the same time, a little bit more willing sellers. So potentially there might be a little bit of a battle, but if Lucid, for instance, is able to get over that roughly and stay over that about $20 range, you could see a nice push to about 2050, but it's going to come down to, and most likely be, because of the broader market. So nothing really significant, if you ask me. So let me know your viewpoint on that. Aside from what I've brought up, there really isn't all that much in kind of people talking about Lucid. No new articles, no speculative topics. No interviews lately, so it'd be really good if Lucid and Mark have already planned ahead some interviews. And so one thing as well that I really did like, and it was fairly optimistic, is that Mark actually did, I think it was leading into the Q2 earnings, he actually did a couple interviews before that. So that would be advantageous, a nice sentiment booster if he was to go out and actually start doing some more interviews before the upcoming earnings, because that would show a certain level of optimism and confidence coming from management. So let me know your viewpoint on Lucid in the comments below. One thing as well to take note of though, and in the next couple of trading days, we're going to be opening up those questions that retail can ask management during the upcoming earnings. So hopefully this time around, we do have some pretty good questions. I think one that could be asked of all Lucid management is that why are they not buying stock if they don't see a certain level of confidence? Like I feel like that's something that they really need to say. I know Peter was asked this in the past, and all he said is, hey, I have a lot of shares of it, but obviously people read between his BS answer, because he's like, you were given all those shares, you never actually bought any with your own money. So I feel like that is also another thing that needs to really change. Sentiment with Lucid is just not really doing that great. So let me know your viewpoint on Lucid. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And then one final thing, pop over to my Patreon if you're looking for some solid buy signals on stocks, options, crypto, many of which have been absolutely on point, calling the exact bottom and I've been putting out some pretty good targets for a lot of hot stocks, so worthwhile to pop over there and check that out. Link in the description below and also the comments. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.